There we go. Welcome everyone. Welcome to DC FanDome Part 2. So, this is going to be the TV stuff. All the TV stuff is happening right now in about 4 minutes. 4 minutes we have. That's my script for tomorrow's video. Actually, let me make sure I say that. That's an live video, by the way. A little sneak preview, depending when you're watching this, actually. But we're here. So we've got 4 minutes, which I'm very excited for. Very excited so far. It's going to be a fun little thing. So let me know in the chat what you guys want to see. Whoa, I didn't put that. Yeah, boys. Welcome everyone. 3 minutes and 47 seconds. So don't be shy. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. But yeah, let me know if you can hear me. Desktop audio should be working. There's just nothing playing at the moment. So, warning. Check the video resolution. The resolution's fine, actually. TBH. Well, it is what it is. So I don't know what we'll start off with. I'm going to have a look at what the offering is. And we'll go from there. It's all on demand this time. So you can watch what you want, when you want, if you go to the website. Which will be fun to watch, nonetheless. However, we've got 2 minutes and 47 seconds. We've got stuff. I looked at the schedule earlier, but it didn't really make much sense because there wasn't a lot of stuff on there. There wasn't like Superman and Lois on there. It was just weird. But we're going to watch the panels together. We're going to have some fun. We're going to chill. Oh, we've got 11 concurrents. Welcome everyone. Hope everyone is having a good day. As we wait here, 2 minutes. I've got the monster. We'll probably be at till about 8 o'clock. I think we'll be streaming. So the next 2 hours. I had to cut it short last time because I get up at 5 a.m. every day. It's currently 5:58 here in the UK. So unfortunately, I was pretty tired. I'll have a little sip. Don't usually drink that stuff, to be honest. Don't usually drink it. It's not good for you. If you're watching at home, shouldn't be drinking that. Not good for you whatsoever. So we've got 1 minute. 1 minute, people. Do not be shy. Hit that subscribe if you are not subscribed already. And drop a like as well if you like the video. We're jumping in. This is some old school stuff for you. For some of you guys who've been subscribed to me for a long time. Well, we've not done a lot of DC TV since we've been back. We've only been back on YouTube. About January, February, March, April, May. About 4 months. So we haven't done much of The Flash. Well, that used to be our bread and butter. But it is what it is. Pivoting into different things. 40 seconds to go. Who's hype? Hop up in the chat, boys, if you're hype. Boys and girls. Aliens. Doohickeys. Robots, whatever you are. It's all loves my G. Currently missing Liverpool versus Leeds right now for my fantasy team. But I've got Liverpool. I've got Bamford and Salah. They're doing alright. But this isn't football. This is DC FanDome. And we've got 5 seconds to go. We've got 20 people watching. Here we go. Okay. Right. Well, what are we going to watch first? What are we going to watch first? Wow, this isn't a good insight. So where's the Flash? Flash, where are you? Where is it? Okay, I guess you're not on here then. Is Stargirl on here? We'll start off with Stargirl. Yeah, let's pop in. Oh, that's loud. Stargirl, yeah?
Welcome to DC Fandom. My name is Leah Thompson, and you are watching the Stargirl.
Back to the Future. Hi. Let me know how the sound is, yeah?
For those of you who may not know, I have a special, very special, heart connection to Stargirl as I directed episode 7, Shiv Part 1. So
I did not know that.
I am absolutely thrilled to join my friends, Jeff Johns, and the whole cast to discuss the fantastic, yay, first season. We have with us today the creator, the everything, the EP, Jeff Johns, and the members of the new JSA Stargirl, Breck Bassinger, woo, woohoo, Wildcat, Yvette Monreal, Dr. Midnight, Angelica Washington, our man, Camera Gelman, and our matriarch, keeping everyone honest, Barbara, played by Amy Smart. So great to see you guys.
Hey.
Wow.
What's up, fam?
So we are gonna play a little game because that's what we do here in COVID land, right? We play little games on Zoom meetings, right? So Angelica, we're gonna have to ask you to share your powers with us as we play a little game called Things. Dr. Midnight knows about me. We are all gonna get on our goggles. You guys have goggles? We're gonna get on our goggles. All right. And we're gonna learn a few fun things that maybe only Dr. Midnight knew before.
Okay.
All right. Jeff, let's start with you.
Oh.
It's our fearless leader. What are 5 things that Dr. Midnight would know about you?
5 things. Okay, I'll try and keep these somewhat Stargirl related for fun.
Welcome everyone
for those
to the
who've
stream.
seen the show, thank you for watching the show very much. We all worked really hard on it, and we're really proud of it and excited that we're going on to season 2, which is awesome. One of the things you'll see in the first episode, if you haven't watched it, but you probably have, is Pat has this big boy keychain. And I actually, when I grew up in Detroit, there was a big boy on my street corner. So we used to walk. My dad would take all the kids there, and we just have ice cream and burgers and stuff. So it's a place I remember fondly. And moving out to LA, there's a big boy in Burbank. So
yeah, you can.
It's
on demand.
Kind of special.
Mike.
Meaning to me, related to food, because I like
first?
food. I worked in a restaurant for 4 years in Michigan, and so when Pat cooks, a lot of what I enjoy about cooking, I love cooking. I gave Pat, I like that Pat cooks. I like that he's the cook of the house. I like the episode where Amy's freaking out because she can't get dinner ready for 8 people, and all the cars in the show. The Buick in there,
DC
all the cars in the pit
down.
stop, that all came from a love I learned to about cars from my very first boss, Dick Donner. So thanks, Dick. And originally when I wrote Stars and Stripes, #1, I had envisioned that Pat built a robot that he controlled remotely from the house, and he wasn't inside it. Someone told me, they just did a robots and kids story somewhere, and so I said, well, why don't I have Pat actually pilot the robot? And it's changed the whole concept because Pat is with Courtney there, and I don't know, I don't think it would have worked nearly as well if I hadn't had Pat and Courtney in the same space. If he was back home remotely controlling the robot.
Yeah,
it was kind of
you can.
Accident.
Yeah, look.
And then finally, Cindy.
So if you can see that.
In the comic books, originally her father wasn't going to be Dragon.
We don't know what stuff has panels yet.
But a villain named, for all the DC fans, a villain named
so we don't know what panels have trailers yet.
That Dr. Midnight knows.
That is awesome. That is really good.
Man, I love
Those
Jeff
are
Johns.
so cool.
I know
Those
it's
are
gonna
great.
be a lot, and there's
Yeah,
a
I
lot
don't
of
have
controversy,
favorite
but
ones like that.
So now we have to go to Stargirl. Brett,
Woo.
what do you got?
Mine are a lot more concise. Dr. Midnight would know that Breck was a mathlete for 4 years, gold medalist. She likes to trick people into eating her amazing gluten-free baking. I also like cooking. She dreams of traveling to New Zealand. She recently found a coffee addiction while filming Stargirl.
Speedrun the palace.
You know, night shoots. And this is a fun little
trying to
Stargirl
find it. We couldn't find a
fact.
flash, so
Stargirl and Breck were both
Rowan was just like, yeah, Stargirl.
seen
I was like,
on
this
Earth
pop
for the
in,
first time in
there, pop off.
1999.
In the background,
Year
we're
I was
trying to
born,
find some good
year
ones.
Stargirl was first seen in a comic.
Same month too. Same exact month, May.
What?
See, it wasn't May 1999 because the comic book I have says June, so I wasn't
Yeah,
like
the comic books always have like the dates a little bit off because for the newsstand it was like take it off in June. I don't know exactly how it works, but it was released in May.
so May
Wow.
1999. Both Stargirl and I entered this Earth.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, it totally meant to be. I totally believe that stuff.
So Amy, we want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Yes. Well, I took it more personally for the most part. So Dr. Midnight knows that I'm an introvert and that most times I'd rather be reading a book at my house than at a party. Another one was I was a ballerina for 10 years.
Oh my gosh. That's going in an episode.
I was a ballerina. Another one is I have a doll eye. What?
Kai's
What does that
Shawnee,
mean?
Injustice panel.
Just a doll eye.
Cool.
Flash was the
Oh.
Okay.
I
Mike,
am
if
a
you see something
certified
decent on that,
Kundalini
let me know,
yoga
'cause
teacher.
That's not a new one.
Cool.
Did not know that.
Yeah, you
My
can.
last little trivia fact is my character Barbara is named after Jeff's
Yeah, that's what I'm
real-life
getting,
mom,
bro.
Barbara.
Aww.
At the moment.
Oh, I love
Fuck.
that.
I don't know if that
That
popped
is
up.
true.
Thanks, Dr. Midnight.
All right, Yvette.
Oh,
Yvette.
sorry.
Oh, hello. Okay, so my
Yeah,
five
this is what I'm
fun
getting.
facts that Dr. Midnight knows about me
At the moment
is
for Watch
that
First.
one of our first hangouts, mine, Breck, and Angelica's, was
It's
when I went
extended.
apartment shopping
Okay.
with them. And it was so fun because it was the first time we were hanging out, and it just was a bonding moment. Number two, I randomly took a picture of the Wildcat comic online in 2014, and I sent that to you. Remember, Jeff?
Yeah.
And now I'm cast as her in 2000, years later. So
Yeah.
that was kind of crazy. Number three, the first time I learned about anyone being celiac was with you guys, with Breck and Cameron. So you guys taught me about that. Number four, I was
Okay, we're
notoriously
going to skip
known
this a bit.
on set and off set to have my phone.
I don't
and
really
that's
care
because
about
in high
the
school
shiny
I
fucking
wanted to be
gluten.
The first one is that I plan to buy a camper trailer and I fell on my face. Uncle. So, yeah.
Just skip this a little bit.
And
lived together the entire time of filming season 1 of Stargirl, and we'll do it again season 2 because we're so excited. Yay! Number 2, I actually bonded with Cam the most on set because we're both obsessed with Hamilton the musical, which now the world is like finally able to see, and we sing it all the time, like all day in our trailers on set. Whenever we know every word. I mean, don't like hold me to that, but we know Titans, and so I was like, I'm going to color my hair like hers because she's awesome. And the last one to tell you is that
The nickname is Mini Pork.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Don't know why. That's my fact.
I think
boys.
Stargirl was a
Really
bad
happy.
choice, boys.
And,
And girls.
every day I have
And
to put the
robots.
chickens
And
away, and I
aliens.
almost kill myself because
And
that
metahumans.
was so fun learning about
Oh, what's this?
from the epic last episode. Go.
I know.
So
There you go, what's this?
now we're going to revisit one of the most intense moments from the epic last episode. Go.
how good did Solomon Grundy look like? Let's be honest. How sick did he look? Because I'm so happy that Solomon Grundy will look sick. Because I've waited so long for a good Solomon Grundy kind of portrayal. Butch in Gotham was... Yeah, that was a bit... But this was sick. Yeah, bro, well, I did too.
My turn.
Is it me or does this look like Injustice? How good that looks.
I don't have time for this.
She's so good at Stargirl.
Whoa, that was
So good.
crazy.
So good.
Yeah, I just thought it was so cool because I had a hero click to me.
How did you do
I
that?
don't know if you guys have ever played or heard
That
of
was
hero clicks.
crazy. How do you
I
do
don't think it's
that?
still going.
My favorite part is like, I don't have time for this. Love it.
How much strength
The
left
link.
do you think
Yeah,
you had,
then
Rick?
bear with, bro.
When you just like,
I know. I had 5 minutes.
Should I drop it in the chat?
Yeah, I had 5 minutes, and
We're ahead,
my wife is in trouble, Amy's in trouble, and I'm like, go
I
get
skipped all
your
the
lady.
fucking
I got this. I've got
icebreakers.
5. That's how that goes. So,
So good.
yeah.
I love seeing Grundy.
Yeah,
That's
Grundy's awesome. I got to give Andrew Orloff and Zoic props. The
What do you look
VFX
for?
team
Go
and
to
Kevin
watch
Truckin was
first.
there, but they just made such a cool
Which isn't
Grundy.
working.
That's
Is
so
it?
true. The
Is
comic
it?
books and Stripe looks awesome, and that fight was a lot of fun. You know, I never thought I'd be able to see a live action Stripe
It's
versus
broken.
Solomon Grundy, but that was cool.
So cool.
Incredible.
Yep.
Incredible.
So cool. It's just amazing what you guys can do, and the actors with all their, commitment to the special effects is really sells
Yeah, no problem,
everything.
Evan, bro.
Totally.
I mean,
So-
Breck had a whole thing with the staff. She had to learn how to make the staff come alive when it wasn't there.
It was like puppetry almost, but it was definitely a learning experience. How was it, Cam? Was this like your
Well,
first
what's up,
time
Ted Man
fighting something
Productions?
that
How's it going,
wasn't
bro?
there?
I don't know why it's not working.
Yeah.
I really think we
Yeah.
made a mistake.
No, for sure. It
going
was,
on this
I mean,
one first.
I had a
Now
I had
nothing works.
a big green pickle, and that's I had a big.
Why?
You didn't see that? Yeah, I had a big green pickle with a sad face on it.
Yeah, it's fucked, bro.
And that was my Grundy. So thankfully,
Why?
I had something
There's
to
nothing-
hit, and I had
Yeah,
the
it
amazing
ain't
stunt
working.
team. I had Ben Akrig advising me on like how to get power into these.
I'm
punches,
lucky 'cause
but I
clicked
had
on this thing.
I had a big green pickle.
I always think there should be a special Emmy or Academy Award for trying to perform with a big green pickle.
More
I think
for
so.
what first?
It's so much harder.
It's
Yeah,
so
broken.
much harder, and it was sad. It had a sad face that distracted me because I was like,
Yeah, part of me was like,
it's
this is going to be
clearly
good because I can
bummed
watch it when
out,
I want.
and I'm
So,
hitting it. Like
we
I
were
wish
going
it
to
had
start
like
with
an
Flash, but
angry
we couldn't
face,
find it.
you know.
I hope we get to see more of those epic battles in the
Stargirl
next
was
season.
good.
I'm sure we will. What do you think, Jeff? What
Oh
do you
yeah, I'm excited for people to see more of Grundy. He's not gone just yet.
Oh, there we go.
Cameron knows
Wow,
what we're
Grundy's
gonna do.
back,
Oh,
boy.
for sure.
We got
I'm super
Cool
excited.
story ideas for Grundy coming up. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well,
Yeah, everybody did such an amazing job, and you guys all did such a
It
gorgeous
broke
job
last time, though.
in the fight scene in the dungeon.
I know a lot of people
like
in the chat,
watching every
in part
single
one who could
person
watch it.
that we worked with show up in suits and like
That was
clash with
so
each
cool.
other.
Like,
I think it's such a cool way for our show to end. Like everybody was so great.
I was screaming at the TV. It was so exciting.
I love it. On the edge of my seat, like every moment, like what's happening next? What's happening
yeah, so
next?
Grundy's back.
So good.
Who's hyped for that?
And
Let
it's
me know in the
such a
chat.
treat to see it when it's finally done because it's so different than the actual experience of doing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Totally.
That's one of
Yeah.
the reasons I'm really excited about going back for season 2 because I feel like now I'll have a better picture. Like I know what Strike fighting will look like because I've seen it.
yeah, when you read the scripts and then you see it on TV, for me, it's just so different. I'm like, wait, oh my God.
Did you guys see Jurassic World when at the end the two like T-Rexes fight each other?
Yeah.
That's what this fight felt like. Like
Yeah.
it,
That
they're,
epic.
like yeah, the two biggest, craziest like
digital
characters
Grundy
show
high.
an entire sequence, and it's so.
See, in my videos for it, I thought that we'd get some type of Batman Easter egg.
Cockpit and all of us in there, like it's just such a masterpiece.
Well, I
of
think these
like
guys
of
are
a, of a
on a
sequence.
different Earth to Titans.
Season 2.
Yeah, where does it go, Jeff? Where does it happen? Tell us.
Well, I think one of the important things at the end of season 1 is when we introduce Eclipso. That's very important.
Whoa.
Absolutely. Jeff, I know what the people want to know. Will I have Hootie season 2?
I love Hootie. I love that Hootie's waiting for Dr. Midnight all this whole time. We will definitely be talking about Hootie at some point. So.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have some fan questions, all right? So this is from Daniel. Who would win a fight, the old JSA or the new JSA?
That's so
Jeff, I think you
fucking
should
dumb.
answer this.
Obviously, the old JSA, they're more
Well,
experienced.
it'd be weird to see them fight. So, but it all depends who. This is a cop out
Who the
answer.
fu-
but it's
right.
true. It depends who's on the team.
You said it in this chat, you're getting
I would hate
banned.
to see this. I think that's a much bigger question. I think the question
Where
is
is
would
Ed
they ever
Boon?
fight and why?
What if it was the
Woodblock,
original?
707, welcome, bro.
Wildcat,
We
Iron
jumped
Man,
in
Dr.
straight
Midnight.
away. We were like,
Wildcat, Iron Man versus Iron
straight
Man.
in.
That'd be so cool.
But this is the
I
first
already
thing
know who would win.
we decided as a
That
stream
sounds
to
really
watch.
cool.
I would
This
never
one,
fight
Stargirl
Dr. Day
first.
in my life.
No.
Yeah, I know. I thought Dr. Midnight.
Cara Ellison, where's Ed Boon?
See who can out-talk
We're
each
gonna
other.
watch
I
Injustice.
just assumed that the younger
Faye,
generation would be
cheers for
faster
subscribe,
and more
homie.
limber. I assumed that like the
yeah,
older
we were
peeps
gonna
are-
watch
are sore
that next,
and their
but-
joints hurt, and so
They have experience.
How much does
I would, yeah.
Does
I would
he
as-
look
I would
like,
assume, I would know. I think
the
you're
one who
definitely
played
kick
him?
your ass.
You know how but old
He
people
looks like
and young
Archie's
people
dad.
play tennis?
Remember
The young
that?
people are
Rip.
running around and the old people are just hitting the shot.
they're more strategic. Yeah.
They have
Oh,
more
Starman.
experience, so
Yeah.
they like
I think that's
know
Eclipso.
what to do.
I
If
think
fought
that's
my dad,
Eclipso.
I'd call like a fake truce with him so that he thought we were cool, and then I'd hit him.
Good.
Yeah,
It's a very Rick thing to do, by the way.
yeah, I know it's not
what
cool.
decision, Mike?
Rick
What's
thing
up?
to do. Rex would never
Oh,
do
John
that.
Cam, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Or
cool.
I'd hit him with the Mustang.
I'd rather know what I'd rather, Daniel. I would rather the two teams. What would the two teams have to team up to fight? What would how big would that threat have to be for both teams to come together? That would be cool.
So this is from Carla. What do you guys do during breaks?
I think we would dance a lot. Remember this move, guys?
Yep.
That was a good one.
We eat a lot, lots of eating towards Crafty.
Yeah.
Lots of coffee. We love coffee runs. We love coffee.
We were always on the river or the lake. We went to water sources.
We would hang out outside of set too, and we'd go dancing. Once again, I guess we dance either way. But
We love to
I know, dance
Music,
on and
Green
on.
Lantern,
We
HBO
danced at
Max.
gas
I don't know.
stations.
I thought we'd get
We
that
danced
last,
at gas stations. Oh my
part
gosh,
one.
we danced
We
everywhere.
You know what we also love to do that
Wood
people
block.
don't know?
Thanks for the
We
follow,
would
bro.
sneak
On
into
Twitter,
Neil
appreciate it.
and Chris's apartment
Really
I
appreciate
never
it.
did that.
to use their pool because their apartment had a
Appreciate
pool
panel at
and
the same
ours
time.
didn't. And we would just literally, we
Ah.
befriended other people who lived there so we could show up and
There
use
we
their
go.
pool. But they would also let us use it, like if they were there. But if they were like on set filming, we would just go.
It was all about just cutting out the middleman. Be like, we don't want to
Oh,
ask you
yeah,
anymore.
You guys
Yeah,
are
Mike.
crazy.
I remember I was
And yes, it is
talking to Chris
TV,
about this. I
but there's
remember
nothing
there was a
like
day
TV.
where he was like on a phone
Oh,
call
hold on.
on his balcony, and I was just down there like having a drink with my hat on, and he saw me and he was like, and he called over to Neil. I was like, "Did you invite him?" He's
It's
like,
a
"No, he just
front
shows up
panel.
now." And then they came down. Like,
Maybe
it
it's
was. I think I overstayed my welcome, but it's fine. We had waterfall ball. We invented an Olympic sport at that pool. Because
Yeah.
it had a very
Green
specially
Lantern.
crafted
Well, who'd you wanna
fountain
play Green
that was an
Lantern?
L shape and then
Or do you
ran
wanna be in the
water
show?
down. So you throw a ball into it and you try to time it and then you jump and catch it. It's very difficult. I did it once the whole time.
I want Hal
You also
Jordan.
taught the neighbors that game.
Although
I think
my
since we all
Green
dance so
Lantern,
much, and
when I
you
started
know,
reading comics, was,
obviously
Kyle Rayner.
Amy's character, Amy is a ballerina. I think we should have a
was a
dancing
Kyle Rayner fan.
sequence at some point where we all do
Cool,
ballet
it's White
or
Lantern.
something.
A musical episode, perhaps?
That's like
No, no, not a musical episode. Just like a random, like we're running into trouble. We go into this like ballet thing, and Barbara's the teacher, and we're just like pretending to be part of her class, and then we go and keep fighting crime.
I think that's a great season 9 idea. A great.
Or
Famous
there's a
James
villain
Marsden.
that makes us dance, like in Midsommar, where like they can't stop dancing, like what's happening to us, and they like die of dehydration.
The guy
That's
with
a
the
great
devil
season
emoji.
10.
I'm sorry, I can't read his name. I'm really sorry.
Noted.
So let me
But
get
thank
to
you for
this
joining
question.
us.
Sabrina said, is there a chance Beth will get to work with an owl? We would really love to see that team up.
Bro, who is right?
I would also
Who
love to
is
see
writing
that.
these
That's a
questions? Because they're
question for
trash.
Jeff.
There's
Yeah.
always a chance. There's always a chance.
Always a chance.
Who
William
cares?
asked, what would you all like to see next for your
There we
characters?
go. It's a
Let's-
real
Amy,
question.
are you still there?
I'm here. You know, Jeff, I would be so okay with a superpower.
Season 11.
Yes.
Season 11.
Smells so hot.
At least give me a dream sequence superpower.
Well, there's a well, I don't want to spoil anything for season 2, but because
There is
we're just breaking it right now.
your superpower is your charm.
Aw.
Yes.
Thanks,
Being
Leah.
a mama.
You're also a mom. Being a mom is totally a superpower.
Listen, I totally agree with all you, but I want to fly. Have a ball, or
Noted.
What about the rest of you? What would you like to see?
Some
with
of
your
them were
characters?
okay, but
I would
JSA
like
versus
to
JSA,
see,
like, no one's asking that.
I'm gonna more of my castmates have like a love interest or a love story.
Ooh.
But like it doesn't have to be me. Like no Jeff. Like I don't know. It doesn't have to be me. It just everyone else would be great.
Boys are evil.
Kidding.
Whoa.
I would probably
Feminist.
want just
Feminist
to
confirmed.
see the dynamic of my
Where is she sitting?
what happens.
And why is
with
she on
my
the casting
family,
couch?
Just like how that comes together. Just because the last time I spoke with them, they kind of was just like, "Nope, you're still in trouble." And then, so just to see where, like, I've been out a lot. I've been helping Courtney a lot just to see like
Red Milk.
how that
Welcome to
whole
the channel.
thing
Thank you for the subscribe, bro.
is developing.
I would love, besides the relationship stuff, because the teenage girl in me will
Right, yeah,
always
they
want
are.
that
I agree.
in TV shows, but also the rivalry with Shiv. I just love their rivalry. I think it's so interesting. I keep saying this, but it reminds me of like Kim Possible and Shigo, and it's so catty and dynamic. I'd love to see more Stargirl and Shiv.
That's definitely happening.
Oh, good, great.
Let's see if it's
Cameron.
working. Yeah.
I really want time with my dad, with Lou, Lou Jr. I obviously I met him on set, and I think
Viper
he's such a
King
wonderful
J,
guy.
welcome
and
to this
I
channel. Thank
watched
you for
him
subscribing.
film these scenes with my younger me, but I think it'd be so cool if there was like a reckoning scene, even if it was in Rick's head, you know, where he gets to deal with like confronting his father and his father seeing who he is now. And I think that would be super cool, like connecting with his roots, even if it's a ghost or you know.
Well, we are heading to Day of Reckoning, aren't we? Because we've got Eclipso.
Tasman has a cool question.
Spectre is
Angelica
in the
and Yvette,
multiverse.
both of you are women of color playing superheroes and representing your respective communities. How important is this to you?
Well, for me, I think that, you know, it's a known fact that Latinos are underrepresented in television. So it's really important. I feel like I'm one of the only Latina
I
superheroes
feel like
on
they need to
TV.
update
So
her outfit. 'Cause
to
that
be
mask
able
is fucking
to
dead.
be Latina and be a superhero, that's extremely important. I feel like a lot of people say this, but it's so cool to have little kids look up to you and say, hey, like, that could be me, or like, you know, follow their dreams. So I think it's extremely important, and I'm so glad I'm representing for the Latinx community.
Love that. Completely agree, Yvette, and you're doing an amazing job of being the role model and inspiration to others. For me as a Black woman, I'm just so grateful that I even just like Yvette, we get the opportunity to do this. Growing up, I never saw like a live action Black female superhero ever. So I'm just really excited for every Black and brown girl really to be able to see themselves through our cast, whether it be through me as Beth or Yvette as Yolanda.
Oh yeah, Blue Beetle
So
will be
I'm
good.
just really grateful and
Especially if
honored
they're
that
gonna
we
be
both
doing,
get to share
OMAC
an amazing
in,
responsibility to be representation
Wonder
for
Woman.
young girls who look like us, so they know that like one day I can
Oh.
also be a superhero, and that there is no limit
I
and
hope
there is
it's
no
Ted Cole,
ceiling
though.
on any of your dreams.
Oh.
Boys, I
Wow.
don't know what we're
Thank
gonna
you,
watch
Jeff,
after this.
for
Nothing's
writing
working.
these great characters.
It's
Yes,
broken.
thank you, Jeff.
They're all great. They're all great characters. We have a wonderful writer's room. They're wonderful characters, but you guys bring them to life. You really do, across the board.
Well, it all starts with you, so thank you. And there's one more. What other members of the JSA do you want to see join the new JSA?
Amy Smart. Barbara. Bring Barbara in. That's what I want.
Love it.
I want to see some closure with this pink pin. Like, bring me Jakeem. I need it. For sure.
Yep.
Right. I keep thinking of the Green Lantern just because the little lantern was flickering, like, you know, from the beginning. And they go back to it a lot. So, I mean, that'd be cool.
I agree.
Oh, know what the best thing about this is that I'm so excited we get to do season 2 with everybody, because we do have so many other things to explore with these characters and other avenues and other characters that exist out in the world to meet and
Jamie,
introduce.
because
And
Ted Cord was
we'll do it,
who I was
the best way
reading
we
when I was
can,
younger.
and we'll do it at our own pace. But we will definitely be playing with things like the pink pen in season 2.
Will you be making a cameo?
Yeah. Please, that'd be so fun.
Just like a suited superhero that shows up for 1 second and just.
Wait, did you say
I'm
pink
super
pen?
excited to watch you guys.
King
write
Thunder,
great scripts.
baby.
And maybe direct an episode too.
He just came
Yeah,
back
yes,
as
we'll see
well.
all
in,
about the timing right now. But
well,
yeah, I'm
months
excited.
ago.
I'm just excited to. I mean, it's a dream come true to be able to do this again with everybody here. Like, it's so exciting to me. All that other stuff is like gravy, you know, just because I love you guys. It's been the best experience of my life. And I'm just excited I get to spend more time with you. It's gonna be so fun.
Oh. Well, I think this is it. We need to thank the fans for getting everybody to season 2. So thank you guys for watching.
Thank you so much, everybody
Thank
watching. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much for watching. We love you. Okay.
It's so nice to see you guys. Yay!
Nice to
You
see you.
too, Leah.
Nice to see you.
Because try again.
Great seeing you guys.
Up next. Is that gonna work? We'll go Flash next. We'll try and watch it.
The army thought the experiment was a failure. That their drug didn't work. But it just took a little time to turn you into...
Are you joking? Yeah, nothing works. Yeah, I want to watch the Flash, but it's not working. Yeah, literally. Just gonna try a VPN. Bear with me. Just gonna try a VPN to get on there. Whoa, we're going. It works. Oh! Are you kidding me? Oh, you little prick tease. You little prick tease. I thought we had that then. I thought it'd work. 503. Alright, let's try something else. Let's try Asia. Oh, this is such a letdown. I was so hyped. Yeah, let me try. How does it work on here? How do you start incognito? Okay. Accept all cookies. Nope. What a fucking... How have they fucked it so badly? How have they pissed this up the wall? How have they done this? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Is that gonna work? Oh. Oh my god, right. We're gonna have to go like... We're gonna need to go Oracle style with this shit, you know? Dead. It worked on a VPN, briefly. Let's try optimal location. We in! Let's go. Let's go, boys. Flash panel extended. Hello, boys. You always come through.
My name is Barry Allen, and I am the fastest man alive.
Godspeed. Chest kicks.
My name is Barry Allen. I am the Flash.
Welcome to DC FanDome. I'm Chancellor Agard from Entertainment Weekly, and this is the Flash panel. Joining me today, we have Grant Gustin, who plays the Scarlet Pizza himself, the Flash, aka Barry Allen. Candace Patton, who plays reporter extraordinaire Iris West Allen. Daniel Panabaker, who pulls double duty as both Caitlin Snow and Frost.
No, he hasn't got the ring yet.
Carlos Valdez, who plays the ever-quotable mechanical engineer Cisco Ramon. Daniel Nicolay, who plays meta attorney Lucille Horton.
Almost.
Brandon McKnight, who plays enthusiastic scientist Chester P. Runk. And Kayla Compton, who plays Central City citizen intern Allegra Garcia. Also, we have showrunner and executive producer Eric Wallace. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi. Before we talk about season 7, I do want to go back to season 6, which I think was a really unique year for the show. Because Eric, you came into the season, you decided to split the season into 2 parts. Looking back on it now, how successful do you feel that was? How effective was that?
I thought it was really successful. It gave a new energy, I think, to the season. In the first half with Bloodwork, we were able to really drill down on Barry's story and on dealing with crisis. Vice versa, in the back half, we're able to really drill into Iris's character and Team Citizen and Eva's story. And then we'll see at the top of season 7 how it all comes together more.
And for the cast, especially the ones who've been here since season 1, in the moment, could you feel something different about the show and how it was structured?
I loved it. I was a big fan of it. I'm really glad that we got to, it gives the opportunity to really flesh out those villains a little bit more and not spread them out so much that you feel like you're sort of filling in episodes to get to the end.
Yeah, I think a show needs to change in order to grow.
Yeah, I think as an actor too, it prevents fatigue throughout the season. 22 episodes is a long time, 9 months. And I think for us having this kind of break in the season where a new sort of storyline emerges kind of puts us in a headspace of, feeling reinvigorated with the work. So yeah, it makes the season a bit easier to swallow altogether.
As Eric mentioned, the first half of the season was very much about sort of Barry's walk up to crisis and him dealing with his mortality.
Oh yeah, I did. I completely forgot about that.
I don't know how you're doing this. Real or not, I'm coming for you.
And yet, I'm not your foremost concern, am I? Not as much as your inevitable demise.
Yeah, we haven't watched the Injustice 3 one yet.
Crisis? Goodness, you really are full of surprises, aren't you? So tell me, when you saw all those permutations, billions of possible futures, all ending in your death, what role did I play?
Grant, for you, what was it like sort of dig into Barry in that way in the first half of the season, especially with episodes like The Last Temptation of Barry Allen?
That episode in particular, I've said it a few times since we finished it, but that was a really special episode to me. And I think it really was a good episode to show just kind of the culmination of all of his emotions and the conflict kind of boiling over. I just felt really lucky with all the material they gave me in The Last Temptation of Barry Allen, especially in part one. It was different than anything I think we've done and anything I've done on the show, and I had a great time with it.
Did you find that episode particularly challenging?
Oh yeah, and it was a special episode, but it was definitely super challenging. But visually, I thought they did a great job. Everyone was really proud of it. It was tough.
I really liked Blood Work.
And on the flip side, we dug a lot more into Iris as a journalist. For you, Candace, what was it like to sort of explore that side of Iris in more detail?
It was a long time coming. I think we've kind of teased Iris being this ace reporter since season one. It's always kind of been put on the back burner, so it was a nice treat to finally have it be at the forefront of her character arc for the season. It's such a male-dominated cast. I love these guys, but having more women and having this kind of Charlie's Angels sort of, you know, reporter team, it was really cool. It brought a new energy to the show, and I hope we carry on with that in the next season.
I do want to dig more into that because a couple fans had some Team Citizen questions that we'll get to towards the end. In this season, I guess, did you feel like you discovered something new about Iris through this material?
She has this conversation with Barry as Mirror Iris, but I think it's very indicative of how real Iris truly feels, which is that, you know, she can't always be, you know, the victim, and she's not always looking to be saved, and that she has to go out there and kind of have her own agency and do her own thing. And I think it was, you know, words that came through Mirror Iris, but it's very true of real Iris needing to have her own agency and her own life and her own mission. And so that to me was kind of the spark of Iris kind of taking over her own life and, you know, still loving Barry and still wanting this deep, meaningful relationship, but kind of separating it away and saying, I have to do my own thing. I have to chase after villains. I have to chase after stories, no matter how dangerous it is. You put your life on the line to protect your city, and so I feel like I should have the right to do that as well, with superpowers or without. I was following up on a lead, so there.
And you were following a lead in the middle of the night? I mean, something could have happened to you.
That, Barry, that right there, that's why I didn't tell you. I don't need you to save me. I can handle myself.
How did you sort of make sense or separate in your mind Iris and Mirror Iris when you were playing them?
Iris and Mirror Iris, we wanted it to feel like we didn't know who was who. We wanted the audience to believe that Iris and Mirror Iris were almost identical. And as this season kind of progressed, we see these kind of chipping away of Mirror Iris becoming more and more sinister and evil and kind of being taken over more and more from Eva. So a lot of it came in the script of just letting the scripts progress and letting Mirror Iris become more and more sinister.
That's episode 611, Love is a Battlefield, in
There it
which
goes.
Oh, yeah.
Iris gets to break a bottle over a dude's head. How awesome was that?
Fun, yes.
It was super fun.
I mean, that really culminated in the Barry versus Mirror Iris fight, which is something we've never seen those two characters do, or in a situation like that with each other. When you guys first joined the show, did you guys ever think that you'd get to do something, do like a fight scene like that together?
Oh.
I just assumed I'd always play this kind of, you know, straight edge reporter. And so for me to ever get powers and then to have a dual personality and get to fight, I mean, it's all dream comes true kind of stuff. You know, for 6 years, I think any actor is always looking for variety in.
And on the subject of new things, I mean, this season we got 2 new characters with Chester and Kayla, and we have 2 now series regulars coming into season 7. How was your experience sort of coming into a show that's sort of 6 seasons in and sort of finding your way through it?
I was intimidated for sure. I knew these guys were a family and I was nervous. I think it was Danny who was one of the first people that made me feel so welcome. We were shooting a scene and it was really hot, and she just took me under her wing instantly. And I remember she was like, "Do you want to take a picture?" And I was like, "Do I want to take a picture with you?" Yes. And then I got the courage to like ask other people to take pictures because she had like made me feel so welcome instantly. So that transition was really lovely for me.
I was a big fan. I am a big fan of the show, and I watched the show. The Flash is my little sister's favorite superhero, so we've watched the show since season 1. So I came in already like understanding what the show was about, like what the show's tone was, stuff like that. For me, it was more so just meeting everybody and getting into the same vibe that everybody has, because everybody had 5-6 years to really learn about each other and learn how everybody works together. And I was just trying to find my spot and my place without interrupting or changing too much.
And Brandon, I know in the past, Eric has talked about sort of how with Chester, he views sort of Chester, it's sort of like him, his sort of enthusiasm about science and all that. I'm curious, one, what conversations did you have with Eric about sort of crafting this performance as Chester? And 2, did you base any of it on Eric himself?
I remember the first day on set, I met Eric, and it's funny, the first episode 601, the first maybe 3 or 4 days, I was pretty much just in a coma the entire time. So I was just laying on a bench or sitting at a table and stuff like that. And I remember him telling me, because I had the monologue coming up when I'm in my garage and I'm doing the stream. And I remember him just telling me, this guy's brain works faster than his mouth. He can't speak as quickly as he thinks. So every time he has a thought, he's going to another place, and then he has another thought. He's excited about all the thoughts that he's having. So those are like that. Left. I remember that specifically because I remember going into it being like, I don't know how much energy this guy's supposed to have. He's written with a lot of energy. He's written to be really zany and really crazy and really fun. But I don't know how big I'm allowed to go and blah, 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 blah. So Eric really showed me that, you can go as big as you want to go. If it's too much, they'll take it down, sort of thing.
I'll never forget the first time I saw Brandon work. It was Danielle was directing, so I came by set to see how it was going. And they were shooting the montage of like, you had just woken up and you were like, exploring Star Labs and checking all the equipment. Yeah. And I don't think I had even met you yet. I was looking at you on the monitor.
Yeah, that was the first day we met, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I came in and said something to you because I said to Danielle, like, this dude is incredible. Like, you were doing things that, I wish I could get to do on the show, and I certainly wouldn't be able to do them the way that you can do them. So I was super impressed.
It was so fun. I mean, I remember that scene too, that sequence. I had such a good time, and I feel like we shot a lot more than ultimately ended up in the episode. But we were just having such a good time with it. But I also remember in 601, we saw your monologue. I think it was certainly before I'd had any scenes with you. And I feel like we watched your monologue, and we all looked at each other and were like, oh, he's great. Like, so we really came into the show with a lot of love.
Bro. That's tough.
Hey, what up, party people? Welcome to a world where all are welcome, and anything, including the scientifically impossible, can and probably will happen. I'm your boy, Chicka Chester, with knowledge from the bleeding edge of physics and beyond.
Actually.
Kayla, with Allegra, I'm curious, coming into the show, I mean, how did you sort of connect with your character, and in what ways did you relate to her?
The way I look at Allegra is that she just wants to fit in and belong somewhere. And I just super resonate with that. Family is really important to me. My friendships are really important to me. And belonging to something or having a community is just really important to me. So that was one of the first things that I connected with Allegra. She just wants a family, and she wants to belong, and she hasn't had that previously. And so I just super resonate with her on that level.
Suicide Squad.
For you, I guess
you're in the Flash family now.
Yeah.
Probably Quiet Place Part 2. What about yourself?
I mean, with the character, did you feel like you sort of really clicked in with her immediately, sort of on day one, or was there sort of a process for you to sort of figure your way through that?
What are you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think I learned more about her with every episode. I also, my first episode, I didn't know if there was going to be more episodes for me. And so that was all I had. And so I just really gave that my everything. And in that first episode, you learn a lot about, or a little bit about her history and a criminal background. And so like that I didn't necessarily immediately get on with, but as I've, done more episodes, I learned a lot more about her and loved her more and connected with her more.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about your directorial debut, and I was curious. I feel like you've spoken a lot about how sort of acting has informed you as a director. I'm curious, after directing 2 episodes of the show, how has that sort of formed how you approach your role as an actor on the show, both as Caitlin and Frost?
There's so many movies out next year.
I feel like part of the reason I love directing so much is because I've always tried to, be on set with my eyes wide open and look at all the different departments and learn as much as I can. So I definitely feel like it's informed. I do feel, you're right, I do feel like the directing's informed my acting, but hopefully my acting informed my directing too. All, those years of experience and spending time on set. I love it. I'm excited to get back to work too.
And this season 6, was all about sort of Frost finding herself or finding a way to craft a life for herself. So what was it like to explore that journey with this character in season 6?
It was great. It was really fun to get to explore Killer Frost as a real character and a person and a human being with feelings and emotions, and not just necessarily this person who, pops up for a fight and then disappears and we don't really know her perspective on things. So it was really fun to get to dig in and flesh that out and have a little bit of fun with it. Like Candace was saying earlier, it's nice to have the variety after, 6 seasons and 100, we're rapidly approaching 150 episodes.
For you, I mean, what do you think is sort of the next step for Frost in her sort of development?
I'm excited because it sounds like Killer Frost is going to go on a date soon, and I'm really excited to see that.
That might happen.
Do we think she has the best table manners? Probably not.
And Danny, I mean, again, on the subject of change, this season for Cecile, she sort of decides to become a meta attorney for metahumans. For you, what has it been like to see this character evolve from when she was initially introduced to where she is now?
She went from being a regular person to having powers, but then those powers evolving, and they continue to evolve every season. So it's fun for me because every time I get to explore where it's going. And since I joined the show a couple seasons after it started, I always sort of felt like coming into it, my job was to figure out how I can be whatever puzzle piece is missing. Everyone else on the show's already so amazing, and their characters are so well fleshed out that I'm always trying to figure out where Cecile fits and where she can support the team and where she can support the show in its entirety. So it's a blast for me because I got to be a regular person, and I got to be a telepath, and then I got to be an empath, and then now I am a meta defense attorney. And then from what I understand, there's going to be some shifts next season too.
In shooting those scenes where her empath powers sort of come into play, how do you sort of go through that as the actor? Do you like sort of imagine like the sound we eventually hear on TV, or how do you?
It was a little hard to kind of wrap my head around in the beginning. I think it's hard for anyone to play powers, whether they're coming out of their hands or they're inside or somewhere in the middle. I think just as an actor, you have to go back to basics and believe where you're at and completely invest in your character's reality. And that's her reality. And so I try to really just believe what's on the page and what's written for me and play it exactly that way.
Any TV superhero
is there something that you're hoping to do that you haven't gotten a chance to do on the show yet?
I have always, this is not news to anybody, Eric will not be surprised, I have wanted Cecile to be bad, just a little bit bad, forever, so just a little bit, because she's so good. So I would have a lot of fun playing with bad Cecile. I've offered many times to switch powers with Killer Frost just for an episode, but unfortunately, Eric does not believe me to be as good of a writer as I am an actor. So he continues to not buy my pitches.
But I listen. I am listening. I'm listening. I feel you. You never know. You never know.
And Carlos, this season 5 ended with him giving up his powers, and this season was very much about him figuring out what his role on the team was without those powers. After 5 seasons of Cisco's vibe, what was it like for you to explore this new, this Cisco in a new place like this?
I don't think he regrets that decision, but I think it definitely haunts him. I'm actually feeling a lot like Cisco these days because, like, you know, I'll have a fan that I'll like see on the street or whatever. They'll be like, "Yo," but vibe though. Come on. You know, and I have to imagine Cisco's probably feeling very similarly. Like, I know, okay, but you know, it was such a big decision for him that I feel like the ripple effect, you know, the repercussions for that in terms of, you know, Cisco's sense of identity, you know, we're still seeing those waves, and we'll continue to see those waves into season 7. So I'm just, you know, riding the wave.
The beginning of season 6 actually had an episode called Kiss Kiss Breach Breach, which is Cisco-centric, and included on the DVD set coming out in August is a black and white version of that episode, and we have a clip from that episode. So let's check it out.
Yeah, not really. It's a bit of a letdown, to be honest.
You murdered my daughter! No, I didn't do it! I swear! Liar!
Leave him alone!
Where did you get that?
I don't want Red Death
In
yet.
Cisco's workshop. I don't know how it got there.
Have Red Death,
I do. He just murdered my daughter with it.
No, Preacher, I don't care what you think you saw, okay? You know Cisco. You know how much he cared about Gypsy. There's got to be another explanation.
Babe, please.
No, what about doppelgangers?
She's right. There's thousands of other versions of me out there. Yeah, and they're all pencil pushers. None of them are scientists like you. You had motive, just guts to do this.
Preacher, I'm waiting on Netflix.
I don't know how this is possible.
A screener. I've got Ratchet coming out Monday. I'm doing a video on a live tomorrow.
Unless it breeds psychosis.
Hopefully Tuesday after the Devil in Time.
Camilla, what time did you find me sleepwalking the other night?
And bloggers saying there's no humour in it as kind of messed it up for everyone.
You're guilty! But you're not in your right mind. I didn't just lose a daughter today. I lost a son.
Oh.
Because I still respect the man you were. Now, I'm gonna give you an hour to get all your affairs in order, and then turn yourself in.
Godspeed. Yeah, Godspeed was.
I will end you.
I don't know how they're going to do it, because I think the Flash, they kind of just, I don't know what they do with the writing all the time. I don't know why the watching happen.
Wow, right.
Pretty cool,
that was so exciting.
Very cool.
Eric, what was it? What went into the release of black and white version of this episode?
I really like that.
Well, it's a film noir story, and I always wanted it to be black and white. What was really great in making the episode with the director Manoj Huda,
I agree with
he had an idea because he knew I wanted it to be in black and white. He said, "Well, why don't we do the vibes in black and white?"
I like Bloodworth.
And it's something that Carlos had always talked about, is how you could do vibes differently and how unique that could be as a directorial challenge. And Carlos was saying how even way back in season 1, that was something they needed to figure out. Well, when Minaj did that, we cut it into the episode. It dawned on me, oh, we can have a special edition of this that achieves this vision of an entire film noir story, all in black and white. Danny Trejo in black and white. How awesome is that?
Carlos, for you, I mean, that again, the episode was so Cisco-centric about him dealing with Gypsy's death. What was it like leading the A-plot?
So
I'm so
gratifying to my budding
What happened
narcissism.
to the Accelerated Man?
You know,
Where
getting
did that
to work
go?
with Danny
They
is
just killed that off with
always
Gypsy.
like such a pleasure.
But I think the actress who played Gypsy
and also
was
getting
lady,
to like
'cause they didn't really use
really
When I got
sort of
chased up in
navigate the relationship with Camilla too. I felt like at that point, like the relationship was progressing and it needed to reach a major crucible or something. And I think that episode definitely did that. And it was a perfect way to sort of demonstrate how these two are compatible. So yeah, it was very gratifying.
And the last time we saw Cisco in the season, he was heading off to Atlantis. I'm curious, in your mind, have you sort of thought about what Cisco does, what someone does in Atlantis when they visit?
I just chatted up with the dolphins and stuff. Definitely, probably some Aquaman action in there somewhere. I hope Cisco comes back from Atlantis soon, because Atlantis does not pay as well.
And on that note, we also have a sizzle reel for what's to come in season 7. When we last left off season 6, Eva McCulloch had gotten what she wanted, and she framed Sue. And the sizzle will sort of tease what's to come when the show returns. So let's check out that clip.
Well, let's go.
I've achieved my goal. This company is all mine. You lost your speed? You're not much of a threat, are you? You just stay out of my way, Flash.
Iris is my wife. I have to save her.
What are you? I am a product of your broken mind.
How much speed do you have left?
Enough for a few hours. I need your help to build an artificial speed force. That's how I can get my speed back.
I was an empath too, only I never held back. What did you do to me? Imagine what you'd become if you weren't so afraid. This time, no one is coming to save you. Now your friends, now your husband. There's only 2 options in this place: survival or madness.
You lied.
Yeah, I lied.
Oh, frack.
There's a supersonic jet about to crash over the city.
And the Flash isn't fast enough to stop it.
Eva can move anywhere, through any mirror in the universe, in the blink of an eye. She's faster than I am, and somehow I'm supposed to stop her?
I have unfinished business and a whole world to liberate.
We need a plan. We've all lost so much this year. Some things can't be taken. We still have our will to fight for those we love.
Keep watching. Keep trying to break me, because I'm not afraid of the woman that I am today. But you are, Eva.
Team Flash needs as many hands on deck as possible. Well, now, Flash.
We go save Iris and our friends.
Get everybody back.
Eric, can you talk about what we're seeing there?
When we had the shutdown happen, as unfortunate as it was, we were on the last day of filming for what would have been the 20th episode of last season, which now will become partially the first episode of season 7. So we did have 85% of the footage that we were able to use. Plus also, we knew where we were going already in season 7. So even though it's only footage really from one episode, pay attention to the way it's presented. It's actually huge spoilers all over the place.
And that sizzle had a lot of Iris in it, a lot of Iris in the Mirrorverse. Candace, I mean, can you sort of, in your mind, I guess, how do you think her time in the Mirrorverse has sort of affected her?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see when she comes out, and I believe she will come out very soon when we pick up season 7. It'll be very interesting to see how she's been affected by being kind of stuck in this maddening world with this super villain. Obviously, Team Flash and Barry were working to get her. It took a while. I don't know if there's some resentment there or what's going on, or if there's even some like residual mental effect of being in that mirror world and seeing things backwards and how that affects her. I have no idea. That's kind of up to Eric.
And Danny, the sizzle also showed that there's more to come in the way of Cecile's powers. What can you share about that?
I think that it's fair to say Cecile's powers up until this point have been passive. And I think going forward, we're going to see them evolving into something that's more active. We're going to find Cecile exploring that and maybe struggling with it a little bit and finding her way with it. And possibly getting herself into some trouble in the meantime.
Definitely.
Chester becomes even more integral to Team Flash as sort of Team Flash sort of coming back together. What can you say about Chester's sort of the role that Chester will sort of fill on Team Flash?
what Chester's real superpower is his optimism.
Nash currently has sort of all of the Welleses from the old multiverse in his mind. I guess in season 7, how will the way in which Wells is used change for the show?
Radically, but super fun, and you're not gonna see it coming. I love the Allegra and Nash Wells relationship so much. It was one of the joys when the dailies would come back and I would see these two wonderful actors kind of getting to know each other from early on, and then exorcism of Nash Wells, learning why they kind of have this relationship. So there'll be more of that.
Preview show that sort of Barry is sort of working as hard as he can to get his powers back, get his speed back. I mean, for you, do you think Barry has enjoyed any part of not having his speed at this point, or do you think he really does really misses it, I guess?
Yeah, no, I think he really just misses it. I don't think, especially with Iris being trapped in the Mirrorverse at the moment, and then Eva being a factor, I don't think any part of him has been like, well, I guess I'll just enjoy this downtime while I can. I think he genuinely not just wants his powers back, but he feels that he needs them back. And he's also started to feel that they define him, and what is he without them? Yeah, I mean, it's taking a toll on him, just mentally.
Big bads for season 7. Eric, what can you tease about who these new, or who, I guess, at least the first one, who they will be, and what and how they will sort of challenge Team Flash in a new way?
Wow, I don't like spoilers. Let's just say there was a certain speedster who wore a white costume whose clones kept showing up. And it really, Team Flash had to deal with that, but we never caught the real guy or girl.
Yeah, I do.
Let's just say we might find out that mystery this season.
Spoilers. I mean, without spoiling, I guess for you, what makes Godspeed an interesting villain for you? Just on, I guess, without getting into sort of what the show can do with it, but it's like coming to the season, what was it about Godspeed? You're like, oh, there's something there.
I hope it gets renewed. I just watched
two things. One, the current run of the comics that Joshua is writing is terrific, and I want to make sure that new fans, especially new young fans who are reading the comic book now,
I watch sports,
are welcomed to the show.
NBA,
so it's not just Silver Age villains
NFL,
and Bronze Age villains. There might be a young girl or a young boy who is reading those Flash comics now and going, where's my villain, my generation's villain?
I'm a West Ham fan.
Who is this guy anyway?
I'm going to end the stream at 8.
Family friend.
His
name's Godspeed, and he's from the future.
I want that same experience for a young person now to go, well, my villain is Godspeed. He's only 8 years, he's only been around for 5 or 8 years or so. So bringing him in is very important to me to expand the audience. That's number one. 2, Godspeed, unlike, say, Reverse Flash, has no emotional connection, supposedly, right, to the Flash. So the question is, why is Godspeed angry at the Flash? We got to keep the show fresh. We've got more to say.
In light of everything that's happened recently, we have 2 characters on the show, Barry and Joe, who work for the police department. Have you sort of thought about how you're going to approach their jobs in this coming season, and maybe change or maybe not?
The world right now is on fire. We have to look at what's around us. It definitely informs specifically Joe's story this season, but in a good way and in a positive way, because we need to be socially responsible as artists.
You know what's going to happen?
I love comic books
August
and the Flash, but I'm a person first.
And
we have to be people first and work together to make the world a better place. I believe that. That's where those changes are coming from. So you'll notice some changes, definitely.
And with that, let's move on to some fan questions.
Hi, I'm Sammy, and this is my question. How is Nash Wells going to adjust with all of the new Harrisons in his mind?
What's it like having a million Wells in your head? You're going to find out real fast.
For Grant, which from all over the world wanted to know this, when will we get to see the Flash in the iconic gold boots?
Well, this might be a question for me, but really it's for Eric, because I don't know if this is saying too much, but if it were up to me, it would have been
come through.
So I think Eric's going to have to answer this one.
Yeah, well, Grant and I have talked extensively about this. For the record, I love gold boots too, right? I just think they must be
Flash,
right? So it's like, when's the right time to unleash them? I think a story is the best way to unleash them. So I'm determined to get you your gold boots, Grant. I promise. I just
the problem
can't
with the Flash,
when,
he seems too much like Smallville, where he's taking
Christmas is always
like
a good
10
time to give
seasons
gifts.
become the Flash.
And from South Africa,
Cold Zoo.
first, as a leader of Team Citizen, how will we see Team Citizen evolve once the show returns?
I don't know. That's more of a question for Eric.
Yes, you'll see
stories,
much more of
on
Team
TV.
Citizen investigating a very specific thing that I can't talk about right now because I feel terrible, but it's true.
Yeah,
it's
Nashville
true.
is like,
but,
me and my girlfriend, we
they've
find
got a lot of
Nashville
fallout
so
because
cringe.
the leader
We
of
hate
Team
it.
Citizen is in the Mirrorverse. So what's been going on with Team Citizen while she's been gone? I think they need
But
to
she only
start
watches the Flash now.
And the second part of that question, can we expect to see more of the mentorship relationship between Iris and Allegra in more of the Team Citizen office?
I hope so. I would expect so. I think if we're going to be spending a lot of work time together, I think it's only natural for two women to have an evolving relationship. And I think we've already kind of seen that grow in season 6, and I hope there's more of that in season 7. I think it's a great opportunity for a really beautiful female relationship and friendship.
What could need our attention more than this?
Leads. Oh my
Your
God.
cousin was a victim, Allegra, and now some secret organization is using her. I mean, how many others are they using?
We need to help them. Right. I mean, no one wants to find out what happened to Esperanza more than me, but is this really what matters the most to you?
3 hours. Yeah, I know. Just trying to see what
stuff. Camilla is going to see if she can recover
55 minutes left.
photos. You and I have a stakeout date.
So we're going to try and find Superman and Lois.
You're the boss.
Yeah, I echo that. I echo that. I'm really looking forward to that, and I think it's got to happen, right? Especially as we've expanded Candace's story, Iris's story. I think this is the first time Iris has ever had someone come under her, right? So this is a really good opportunity for lots of new fun stuff.
Last season, we got to see some romantic moments between Barry and Iris, even though it was Mirror Iris. Will we get to see more of that with the real Iris this season? And this question comes from Jamaica.
Iris will be getting out of the Mirrorverse shortly after we return with season 7. So regardless of what exactly that's going to entail, we're going to see them together a lot more next year than we did last year.
They will find their way back to each other eventually. A lot of the romance and the chemistry between Grant and I has always been something even deeper than that. It's the way we look at each other and the way the characters are written.
And Grant, this one's for you. We have some amazing Flash fan art and cosplay to show.
I really think that they should.
Okay, guys, right now I'm looking at a cosplay fan art of Vladimir Morisot. I hope I'm saying that right. It's from California. And this thing is epic. Honestly, he's got a better superhero pose than I think I've ever had for a Flash photo shoot. So I could learn a thing or two from Vladimir, I think. All right, I love this one by Shannon Beltran from the UK. It's me and my bud Wally, Keenan Lonsdale. I love this moment when we were reunited and we did our fist bump. I think it was scripted as a fist bump, which we were happy to do, but then we were like, I'm hugging Keenan. This is awesome. Good job, Shannon. Hamlet Roman from Colombia. Awesome image of Barry, myself as Barry, running up a building, and the season 2 suit, I believe, season 2, season 3. This thing's really cool. God, you guys are talented.
I think we should put on some muscle though.
Well, that'll do it for us today. Thank you all for joining me for this panel. I had a really good time. For everyone watching, please make sure you tune into The Flash when it returns in 20.
Okay. Put your screen onto the left. How come? Right, Superman. I can't believe.
Hello, everyone out there at FanDome. This is Jim Lee. I am the publisher and chief creative officer at DC, and I'm super excited to be hosting this panel about an upcoming new show called Superman and Lois. Today with me, I have Todd Helbing, who is the writer, numero uno badass on the production. Hey, Todd, good to see you again.
Hello, hey, Jim, good to see you.
And we have Clark and Lois. Well, we have Superman and Lois.
I know. I
Tyler
want Wally.
Hoechlin and Elizabeth
I want
Toll.
Wally to return.
Welcome.
Thanks. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's good to hear.
Yeah, so let's just jump into it. We got a lot of questions. I have
They're
my own
really
personal
good.
questions as a huge fan of the
Clark
show,
Kent and Lois Lane,
the
I thought,
characters,
in,
and then I
Crisis.
believe some fans are going to ask some questions. You guys
And,
actually might be asking each other some questions here at the
crossover.
end too. So everyone will get a participation medal at the end. So anyway, so Superman was obviously the first superhero, and he's had some amazing TV shows over the years. As a kid, I watched the George Reeves black and white Superman one where he kind of jumped out of a window onto a mattress on the other side.
Yeah.
And obviously there have been shows since then. Todd, can you talk a little bit about how this show is going to be different from previous incarnations, adaptations, what you're doing differently that hasn't been done before, and just kind of, tease it out a little bit? I know you can't share too much right now.
The main way that we're going to make this a little different is that Clark and Lois are married in this version. And they're not only married, they have two teenage boys. Yes,
these guys look way too young to have teenage kids.
Yeah, well, it's we lean into that because Clark Kent
anything
does
good
not
in
really age that come.
Is there a trailer?
That's the big Infinite Earths. They basically brought Superman and Lois into Earth Prime with all the other characters. What role is that going to play in your future telling, in your future storytelling?
Well, for all the fans that watched, at the end of the last or the beginning of the last crossover, Clark and Lois had a little infant boy named Jonathan, and the worlds merged and everything gets rewritten. And the end of the crossover is Lois calling Clark saying that he has to get home because there's a problem with the boys. So we took Crisis as an opportunity to really age up and change things for them as parents, age up the boys, or create two boys, fraternal twins, and make them teenagers when things really get complicated for parents. So I think just Crisis in general really gave us an opportunity to start with a blank slate and tell the story in a way that we couldn't have otherwise.
Tyler, Bitsy, how do you guys feel like, before you're Superman, you're the ultimate hero, right? Lois Lane, you're the ultimate, most famous journalist in all the world, right? And now you're parents to these kids, like, the judging that will be going on in terms of your parenting styles, like it's a whole different dimension, right? Not only do you have to be amazing superheroes, amazing journalists that have to uphold their ethics and fight for truth. On top of it, you now have two teenage boys that are running amok in a small town. Like, is there stuff that you can draw upon to kind of help tell the story from your own childhood or your extended family?
Well, I mean, I am a mom. I have a 17-month-old, and I feel like she's already judging me on a daily basis. So I'm just kind of used to it. She's a big fan of my husband right now in particular. She's definitely a daddy's girl. But I do think that it's one of the things, especially about Lois, is that she doesn't really compromise her sense of self or her goals. And so I think one thing that I think she butts up against, and obviously Superman does too, is being really dedicated to our careers and our jobs, because Pelling was so exciting when I found out that it was going to be older kids, like teenagers, because it is so complicated, and they are going to be going through a lot. And I've read 2 scripts now, and I find that the storyline with the sons really, really compelling.
They definitely get harder as they get older, but
yeah, I don't have the direct experience of parenting yet. I have 6 nieces and nephews now. Kids at home.
I'll use Superman. I assume, like, when you get that call, like, does your life change? Well, I guess after the first episode airs, it changes, right? I mean, can you talk a little bit about that kind of change in your career and life?
I think it's just there's a heightened awareness. I think, when we were on the set, there was one moment that always stands out. We were on a set, and I'd been on sets before where there's fans around and they want to meet the actors or something, but to be there and to be in the Superman suit and to have a parent bring their 5- and 6-year-olds up to the thing to say, hey, can they meet Superman? That's a thing where you do realize that, at that point, the parent might know who you are as the actor, but to the kids, you're just Superman. You're wearing the suit, and that's all they know. So I think that's the thing that changes the most, is just that awareness of when you're around kids. And I think that's what's so great about this character, and what I love about it is that what he stands for really just kind of grabs onto such an impressionable audience. You know, these kids who look at him as a hero and all the things that he stands for. It's something that does make me really excited about getting to play this character.
You know, I don't know if you guys were
he was
fans of DC Comics or Superman and Lois before you guys got these assignments. I assume you've been to Comic-Con now. Fizzy, you were talking about how your heart starts pumping before they call your name and you go out in that panel. Can you share some thoughts about Comic-Con or some stories about Comic-Con and sort of interacting with the passionate fan base that are here watching us, online?
I remember the first time we did Comic-Con for Grimm, could get into it with people.
Yeah, it's far, and there's been so many people to do it. It's this long-standing tradition of this character and what he means. It might mean one thing to the 5-year-old you're meeting, but to their dad or to their mom, who also knew the character when they were 5 and is still a fan, it's such a wide range of impressions that have been made over the decades that it's just it's a different kind of experience.
Right. I would think Superman feels particularly conflicted because obviously he has the responsibilities to his family, the woman he loves, the children he's trying to raise, but he's also he belongs to the world, right? He's the world's champion, and that demand and need for that type of character in the world takes him away from his family, right? So he's got to be extremely conflicted in his personal responsibilities to his family, and then this other responsibility to really kind of help lead the world to a better place, right?
I feel like there's an interesting thing going on, and it's not like it's a brand new situation, but just over the years, it's been this thing where what we do in our professional lives and our work lives, diving into in this show is, as a parent, how do you balance that need of something that you,
the supporting cast of Superman that you kind of want to activate and bring into the fold. We were talking the other day about how love triangles are really important in the Superman mythology, starting with the first, which is Superman, Lois, and Clark, right before Lois figured out his secret identity.
Yeah, well, I think it's fun to when they go back that Lana Lang is there. Lana was Clark's first love, and I think it's an interesting dynamic as an adult, how you deal with that relationship, it can't be Superman. We don't want Clark Kent ever having an affair on Lois. There's not that situation. That's never going to happen. He's as good as they get.
She shouldn't know that.
Well, yeah. It's also like we don't want like Lois and Lana brawling in the but that dynamic as an adult is really interesting to us. Those feelings are impossible to ignore. And I think that that's a real thing for some people, especially when kids are involved. And then to see her husband and her kids and that dynamic, there's a couple characters that we invented, Kyle Cushing, her husband, and Sarah Cushing, who gets sort of wrapped up with the boys, and then they have their own love triangle. And then a character that I think is really interesting is General Lane, Lois's father, and his relationship with the two of them. He sees Superman as he's a very military guy, so he sort of looks at Superman like his soldier, and so and his relationship with Lois is a little fraught because of the way that he took his job when he was a parent versus the way that Clark is doing his job. So all of that messiness is really fun.
It's not just about the ultimate superhero and Lois Lane leading a family and those kind of challenges and responsibilities. There's true superhero action as well. It's more than just a show about this new unusual nuclear family stuck in a small town and them having to figure out those issues. It is, you have two young boys, and apparently they draw a lot, which is awesome. But I heard that they struggle a little with like drawing Superman's shield, right? Yeah. The artist told me back, draw the two fish, the other fish.
We get it, Jim Lee. You're good at drawing.
Right?
We get it. He's like the guy who pops up with the acoustic guitar, plays Wonderwall,
and then right above that
Nirvana,
you draw like a little diamond shape there.
Party.
Oh my God, mine's so bad.
Some
the bottom fish guy.
Is there a seminal moment where?
Hello, goldfish.
All right, so Todd, we have some fan questions. What Superman story stood out the most to you that made you want to play these characters? Was there a seminal moment where you were first introduced to the Superman mythology that made you a Superman or Lois or DC fan?
You know, it's funny. It's not that there's like one particular moment. I've never seen the TV shows. I've seen snippets of it, but I've never seen. I worked with Erica Durance last year. She's amazing. I love her, but I haven't seen Smallville. I've seen the Christopher Reeve films with Margot Kidder, and I love them so much. And I think one of the things that I always found really memorable was this. She didn't know who he was, but like on some level, did she? There was something about the way I felt like Margot Kidder played it, or maybe I'm projecting, where it feels like, and part of the reason they're such a good couple and they love each other so much is that she just kind of gets him. And you know, I just remember moments where she was kind of looking at him quizzically, and I'm like, wait, does she know? Or does she just sort of understand something about him and who he is and what he represents? And like, you know,
watched the first season of Supergirl, and I think it hit me at the right time in life, and I think there was an environment at the time that felt like we needed a little bit of hope, we needed a little bit of optimism.
I might binge Justice
and
next week.
I feel like I had also just kind of been coming out of a cynical phase of life. I went through those years and tried seeing the world through that lens, and I didn't enjoy it very much. So for me, it was just kind of seeing that show and seeing that. I think I felt as if it was a chance for me to jump into something hopeful and optimistic. I think what also goes along with the reality of the situation of where we are today is that you do need hope that we will get to the other side of it and that we will find a way through it. So kind of credit that to that first season of Supergirl, watching those guys.
All right, guys, a couple fan questions. Start first with, who are the Superman and Lois in your own lives? And how do your Superman and Lois influence your portrayal of your respect?
Is Lois Lane right now at a moment in history where a lot of media?
I think anyone who strives to tell the truth with person.
So Tyler Hecklin, 2 questions. What was it like putting on the suit for the
everything about we're going to shoot this, we're going to tell
the show, and it was Elseworlds, and there was a scene.
Sorry.
With Oliver and the Flash and Grant Gustin and I both were like, we couldn't keep it together when you're wearing a plaid shirt and when you rip it open and it's yes, like we probably had to do that quite a few times because everyone's reaction, and like Lois should be used to this, and even I was like
that was a really funny day on set. But that scene, I remember that when we did it and I ripped the shirt up. That's why I said it's different, I think, when you're doing it as opposed to watching someone else do that or being in that, because when I do it, there's almost a moment of it's been done before and you know what it means, so you're like, is the way I'm doing it weird? Does it look right? I don't really know, but I remember Grant on that take, it was the push in, and thank God, like the camera pushed in and it had gone just into the S by the time he did this. But when I ripped the shirt open, I just remember Grant going off screen. It was this audible inhale, and it was the funniest thing.
I mean, it's gotta be strange though.
Suit?
Oh, are we gonna see a new suit?
Come on, new suit, please.
Todd, are we gonna see a new suit?
So, okay, I'll take the heat for this one. You know, it's like originally you came on for the crossovers, and that suit just wasn't built to sustain a series. And I think just in everything that we were talking about earlier, you know, it gave us this fresh slate. Yeah, let's make a new suit. So there's going to be a really badass Superman suit in this show that I'm pretty excited about.
I'm excited too.
So there you have it, guys.
Was that it?
We just want to thank Todd and Tyler and
27 minutes
for
back in my
participating
life.
in this panel talking about Superman and Lois, and for humoring me and drawing the Superman shield. It was really lovely seeing you guys work outside of your comfort zone, bringing artistic, creative abilities to the fore. And we'll look forward to seeing the show.
That's crap. That's absolutely crap. Right. Just run and get a drink quickly. One sec. Alright, we're back. Highest in the room. Hypest in the room, not highest. Right, what's a good panel, boys? What are we watching? We've got time for one more. What are we going to watch? Watch verse. I won't do Batwoman because I don't watch Batwoman. Do we have any other ones? Harley Quinn. Haven't finished season 2 yet. Like some kind of chump. Yeah, it was. I don't know why I'm sitting so far forward. Ziggy Marley live performance. Who cares? Expansion of the Watchmen. Yeah, there's not that much here. It's fun verse. That's pretty lit. Man, Multiversity was so good. Watchverse. I'm going to quickly scan Twitter and see what people think about what the best panels are. Yeah, I thought we'd have a long, we'd have some decent streams here, but should we do Doom Patrol? Let's do Doom Patrol as the last one.
I've made a terrible mess of things.
He threw some things together in a beaker and out popped us.
Heyo!
Yes!
Dorothy's missing.
Welcome to DC FanDome. My name is Christian Holub from Entertainment Weekly, and you're watching the Doom Patrol panel. So glad to have you all here watching virtually. I personally am very happy to be moderating this because Doom Patrol is, I would say, easily my favorite superhero show right now. Because of all the crazy things we see. Season 2 alone, we've had sex demons, time-traveling roller skate parties, and a demon who thinks he's Jack the Ripper, and that's just in a couple episodes. So I'm so excited to have the cast and creators and producers here to go through season 2 and talk about the show. First up, of course, we have Mr. Timothy Dalton, who plays Niles Calder, aka the Chief. We have Matt Bomer, who plays Larry Traynor, aka Negative Man. Joy Von Wade, who plays Vic Stone, aka Cyborg.
April Bowlby, who plays Rita Farr, aka Elastawoman. Diane Guerrero, who plays Jane, aka Crazy Jane, aka Hammerhead, aka Baby Doll, aka you know the rest.
All of them.
Abigail Shapiro, who plays Dorothy Spinner. Karen Obalom, who plays Ronnie Evers. Riley Shanahan, who is the on-set performer for Cliff Steele, aka Robot Man. Matthew Zuck, who is the on-set performer for Larry Trainer, aka Negative Man. Jeremy Carver, executive producer and showrunner. Chris Dingus, executive producer. Tamara Becker Wilkinson, co-executive producer. Everybody ready to get into it?
Booyah!
Yeah. There we go. So kind of wanted to start with a generic question for a lot of you, particularly those of you who were part of the show in season 1. How did kind of the experience of filming season 2 differ from season 1? Were you a little more used to kind of the weirdness and ready to roll with the craziness, or do you still find yourself getting caught off guard by the things in scripts?
First of all, you can never really get used to the craziness and the weirdness because this show is so phenomenal and our team come up with such amazing ideas, and we're constantly looking at the scripts as actors and completely baffled as to how we can get crazier, funkier, wilder in each episode. I think for me personally, one of the best things was that we got to come back and do it all over again, and with a family in which we all resonate with and which we all now understand, and a show and a world in which we don't fully understand, but we're getting to grips in this wacky and weird world. And so, yeah, being able to come back and do it all over again, knowing what we're getting ourselves into was a big thing for me, definitely.
Well, I wanted to do the flip side of that and kind of ask Ronnie and Abigail, since your characters are introduced to the show this season, what's it been for you guys navigating this weirdness, and have your co-stars make you feel any more at home?
It's been really cool, actually. This is like my first TV gig ever, so I'm just so grateful that I had such a great experience and everything, and to be like working on this show in particular, because I've gotten to do things I've always wanted to do as an actor. So that's been really cool. And I just had such a great time reading all the scripts. They're so well written and insane, and I couldn't wait to read the next one.
Same. I mean, those scripts are just insane. I was like, how are we gonna film this? I love that my character also is like kind of like a sliver of kind of normalcy. It kind of gives you a break from all the wackiness. I feel bad for kind of taking Cyborg away from his friends, but hey, she needs love.
It was for a good reason, Ronnie.
Yeah, we've seen in like every scene you guys are in.
In the bed.
In the bed.
In the bed all the time.
Even though so much happened in season 1, in season 2, we're really digging in even more on some of these characters, learning things about their backstories, especially, Larry and Rita come to mind as characters. We're learning a little bit more about their family relationships and things before they joined the Doom Patrol. I'm just curious, did Jeremy, Chris, Tamara, what kind of conversations did you guys have with the actors going into season 2 about how the characters are going to develop, or what more we're learning about them?
Well, I mean, first, as the writing sort of crew, we're going through for several weeks and we're figuring out character arcs and the such. And then I sat down with each of these folks and sort of like walked them through what their arc was looking like for the season, just so they have an idea, because nutty stuff, I guess, that you could say happened during the course of the season, you want them to see the sort of grounded arc that's actually coursing through all of the craziness, and just to give them a strong basis to start the season and get an understanding of beginning, middle, and end to the extent that we know it. That's what we try and do every season with the cast, to the extent that we know the answers, just so they can have a little bit of a roadmap for themselves.
Well, kind of one of the big things kind of carrying us from the end of season 1 into the new season is that at the end of season 1, we learned that Niles, the chief, who all the characters saw as some kind of parental or father figure, that he was in fact responsible for a lot of the stuff that's happened to them. The 1-2 punch of that is that we also have met Dorothy, who is kind of his justification for all those things he's done, and ways to protect her. That kind of carries through the season, I think, as the team is kind of processing that. And I'm curious, Timothy, did that change your performance at all? That you know, this character is really in a position now where he has to be asking for forgiveness and leniency, maybe a little more than he's used to?
Well, it depends what you mean. I think the performance changes all the time. It's an organic thing, and in one situation you'll behave one way, in another situation you'll behave in a completely different way, which is good. It brings texture and depth.
He was so good in Doctor Who.
The new is excellent. Surprise is excellent, and we get plenty of surprises on the show.
Definitely. I'll throw to Diane, because Jane is a character who seems to have kind of relied on the chief a little bit for being a grounded presence in her life, despite the kind of a horrible history she has with parenting. Not being able to rely on the chief, how has that kind of changed Jane's decision making this season?
She's relied on the chief a lot,
iffy.
and I think that we see that starts to change even in first season. So she decides to rely on other methods to cope, and you see where that gets her, and then eventually she sees that she needs this family. I mean, as she starts to empathize with everyone else's trauma as well, and she sees that it's not just her who's having all of these, or going through this emotional roller coaster on her own. She sees that maybe the chief is not her primary source of protection. I think she starts relying on.
No, we haven't watched any.
And of course, the chief is far from the only parental figure in a lot of these characters' lives. They've kind of inherited some messed up things from their parents, which we see this season. And so I'm curious, you know, April, Joyvon, Abigail, can you guys speak at all to kind of how your characters are reckoning with kind of their parental relationships and what they've kind of been left by their parents?
I think Rita suffers from imposter syndrome. And I think her whole life being informed that her mother got her these jobs by doing lewd acts.
Right, I'm going to get demonetized.
She doesn't know where she stands. She doesn't feel like she belongs anywhere. And so it's informed her decisions. And that's why in season 1, she's such a narcissistic person, because she's protecting that idea that she has of herself, that she's not worth anything. And so in season 2, she starts to let her guard down. She starts to actually look at her past and see the damage that the parental figure in her life has caused, and she claims it. And so she starts to see these powers as not a weakness, but an ability that she can use. And instead of getting stressed out, now she starts using it to stretch and to grow. And the only way she can do that is to look at her damage and to acknowledge it and grow past it.
I think Big Stone is helping her to control that, or work out that element. Not to take any credit for it, guys.
It's so weird hearing
he's helping her, maintain.
Cheers, bro. Appreciate it.
I think for Vic, the biggest thing is for him is that Niles was essentially his a father figure to him, and I really look at Silas as more of a parental guardian than a father or than a dad. The relationship between Vic and Silas is very much a relationship in which warrants progress, as opposed to actually looking at the emotional well-being of Vic, and that's a constant back and forth. Hence why Vic decided to stay with the Doom Patrol. He's now got a family. He hasn't felt, especially since the accident, that he has a family. And that's why he's seeking for that and goes off and is against it at first. But once he does come around to come in and meet the Doom Patrol, he starts to feel and see that void, which is starting to be filled from the family, which he doesn't essentially feel like he has, which allows him to be more open and to see what all of the other gang are doing and how they're dealing with what they've gone through, which encourages him to start to take on this PTSD, hence him now leaving the Doom Patrol in season 2 to grow up, essentially.
Abigail, did you want to add?
Well, Niles is the only person who's really taken care of her for all these decades. So she loves him so much, but throughout the season she realizes that he's not necessarily the person she thought he was, and he's locked her away for so long. So she's missed out on the world. And she realizes that her father isn't perfect, and nobody really is. And her father just doesn't want to see her grow up.
I'm so glad to have Matthew and Riley on this call, because I want to shine a spotlight on kind of what you guys do on the show as the on-set performers for Negative Man and Robot Man. You know, could you guys just talk a little bit about how in general you kind of
the on-set version.
You know, physically perform these characters and kind of imbue these personalities and themes of the show, even to their movements. And Matthew and Matt, if you guys kind of want to talk about your collaboration off of that.
Collaborating with Matt has been really cool because he's just been so open, and like we have conversations about like what the character's feeling and what the relationship is to this person, like John in the first season, and just like how we think overall things are affecting Larry with the spirit and the relationship. So it's very open and like communicative thing where we get to really get into like the nitty gritty of what we're feeling. And then, you know, the way I like to come at it is like, you know, your body holds your emotion. And so it's just kind of like you try to think about how you would witness your emotion every day and how you would witness your an emotion in another person. And then you just kind of find where that lives in your body, and that becomes kind of like the posture, the speed, the rhythm, all of that goes into portraying that. I mean, I kind of have a lot of help too because I have neutral mask, so like the facial expression kind of assumed almost from the posture I give it, from the rhythm, from the speed, and all of that is so easily informed by like what the writing says and what these relationships are. And it really is just like you're just acting, right? But then you're thinking about it in terms of, instead of, oh, how do I say this line? It's like, oh, how do I make sure that this physicality aligns with the way that the line I think would be said? And then it's just like, okay, now I take it to Matt and trust that he knows exactly what he's doing. And of course he does, because it's magic when it comes together, and the way that it's the synergy hits, it's just like, it's great.
Yeah, what I love about this job is it is a true collaboration with another artist on the role. It's not a one-sided mandate. We'll have a discussion. Sometimes I'll lay down an initial track, but Matthew's so brilliant in what he finds on set physically is oftentimes so inspiring to me that I'll go in and kind of vibe off of what he does. So it really is a back and forth, and I'm just so lucky that I get to work with him on the role.
Like when you put on the suits that LJ Shannon and creative characters engineering built, like they're just so beautiful, and they have this kind of enigmatic like thing where Matt and I's job is to kind of like breathe life into this beautiful, in my example of Robot Man, he's just like a husk of a thing. You see him on the side and you're like, whoa, that's amazing. But all of a sudden, you know, when you're in it, it's like how to, organize your body, you know? And then similarly to like the Matt Squared situation, like with Brendan and I, like I try to think about it where I'm like, okay, I'm not necessarily like making choices Riley would make, right? I'm acting through a Brendan Fraser filter. So something I started doing accidentally early in my process was like, I don't know, I started rewatching Brendan Fraser movies, man. And like, you know, like watching The Mummy, like, Benny, what the f***, hey? You know, and like I started doing a mimic of him, and it just sort of like feels like it comes together. And we also, on top of it, Brendan and I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't share it here. We like went to the same 900-person arts college, had the same mentor while we were there, and we both have the same birthday.
Wow.
If I wrote this in a book or a play or a show or something, you'd be like, that's hackneyed, that's fake. But it's just like, it's just life. It's wild.
I want to piggyback off too what Riley said about the costumes too, because like, I mean, for every actor, I'm sure they'd all agree, like your costume informs your performance so much. Like the way that you move and all of that type of stuff is always a factor in the character. But I think even more so with these things, it's like Riley, you have to move a certain way in some situations because of the bulk and the size and the weight of that. And the same thing with me, it's like some things in Javan as well, with his sight and things like that, it's like some things you're kind of like, oh, well, this is how I would have to be in this situation. And then it informs and becomes like almost a character and emotional choice because you justify it. You find, well, how does this work? And now how can I make this work for the scene in the moment? And it really is like the costumes are such a helpful, incredible part of what we do.
I realized early on, though, that Matthew and I were going to need separate costumes because at first we only had one. We had to share it. And the first time I wore it, it was a stunt scene, and I had to duck, and it tore from the ass down to the ankle. And I realized I may have a little bit more kadunk than Matthew has down there. So they're going to need a second suit for sure.
Awesome. Well, we mentioned a little bit earlier Cyborg and Ronnie kind of having some alone time this season. Even more than their kind of personal stuff, I've been very interested by kind of the conversations they're having with each other about what justice looks like and how much of justice is about punishment, punishing criminals, punishing people in a relationship who lie to you, versus kind of forgiveness and giving people a second chance.
Damn, girl. Those are some moves. Cops are on their way.
What? No, I didn't ask you to call them.
On a mugging? It's kind of standard procedure.
He's just a kid.
Where
Do me a
is
solid.
the characters from Bond,
Give him a
Batman,
second chance.
Sonic and Cal going to appear in DC Supergirl 2?
According to his priors, this would be his third chance.
I've not watched that.
Then give him a third chance.
Hi,
The more
Cal
this kid is in the
Salazar.
system, the harder it is for him to get out of it.
And if he doesn't experience the consequences, then he's heading there anyway.
Are you really that confident in your moral compass?
No. I just didn't know
like
this
Black
mugging was
Mouse.
my only chance to solve systemic injustice in
All
America.
I'm saying is this kid needs more protection than I do.
So there's a lot going on, in their relationship
Injustice
and
2 is
their
gonna come
interactions. What do you guys
They're
like
so
about
good.
exploring?
You know they're going to come
I think it's beautiful that we get to have these nice, intimate moments in the middle of the world about to end. I'm really in love with
interesting stuff
Cyborg
as well
and Ronnie
from,
because
one
they're
of the
so
fandom
different
Q&As.
in the way they think about things, but at the same time, they're
it
so similar.
seems
Like their
the
trauma is
Flash
very
is
similar. I mean, they met at a trauma group,
be a
crying out loud.
reboot for the-
So
or at
I
least
just
connect
love
all the other
that they're
movies
kind of like opposites
ever
attract.
come
That
out
she's
from
teaching
DC in
Cyborg
one.
a different way to
connected
go
to the
through
multiverse.
things, and they both have a genuine heart, but they may have done things in the past that are just completely different. But I think it's what
Injustice 3 will come
the
out.
genuineness of their heart is what brings them together because they're both good people. It's just Ronnie has done some.
It was entertaining though,
things,
Black
and
Mask.
She knows it.
I thought it was
So
really
I just
entertaining.
think that it's a beautiful act of Black love. You don't see that a lot, and I
thought
just
that,
think it's a nice surprise to see in the Doom
Hugh
Patrol.
McGregor played
Like you
really
wouldn't
well.
expect it. Like these
Birds of Prey
two
is one of
Black
my
beautiful
favourite
people
comic
just
book
loving
movies,
on each
actually.
other, and that's really important
I've
to
only watched
me.
it once.
And I
So
love
I
that
reserve judgment
producers
for it.
decide to
Definitely
do that,
being
and
one of
I'm
my
always
favourites.
grateful for that. So I just think their story is incredible.
The reputation was a huge thing for me, and seeing that Black love on screen, and also an access point for Vic, seeing Ronnie as what is the closest reflection for Vic in terms of seeing someone else. I can look at Robot Man all day long, but it's not exactly a direct reflection. But when it comes to Ronnie and seeing someone in which has experienced very similar things, or has an outward appearance of something which is so similar to Vic, he relates on another level. And I feel like even being amongst Doom Patrol and seeing what these characters have been through, there was one level of entry, but then meeting and being able to come into relationship with Ronnie allowed Vic to really start to see a more reflection of himself and start to learn to love himself more. I think that's one of the biggest things that I feel like Vic gets from that relationship. And then we all know that only when we love ourselves do we get to love others, and so it allows him to express outwardly for that connection with Ronnie. And it's just so beautiful to play alongside Karen, who is phenomenal, as you all can see. And we had a great conversation about
It's
how
funny
this was
that
going to physically
Themyscira
work
was
when it
confirmed
came
to
to knowing
exist
that Cyborg was going to get down.
when it was
but we cracked it.
just before
You ready?
Wonder Woman came out.
Booyah.
Can't hear me.
Booyah.
So I wanted to throw to some of the absolute craziest
There we go.
most colorful
Might be better.
characters, which I would
Hawkman
say are
and Girl
probably
exist.
Jane and Dorothy,
Green
who
Lantern, yeah.
are
Most
a
of
little
them do
similar in
exist.
terms of their power both gives them access to different allies, whether it's personalities inside themselves or these imaginary friends. Recently, we've seen them kind of bump up against each other a little bit in the show. So I'm just curious for Diane and Abigail, how do you guys think that Jane and Dorothy see each other? Do they see each other as possible sisters, friends, or as like rivals?
I think that there's a lot of similarities there. Jane was very, very attached to the chief.
Don't forget
And
to join our Discord, guys.
You see some of the different personas have
How can you
different
not hear me?
relationships with Chief as well,
You must be able
especially
to hear
Baby
me.
Doll, and where we saw Dorothy and Baby Doll have that connection, and then saw some like life-changing things for the both of them that caused them to make some major decisions. I love that relationship there because we both, I care about I care about Dorothy. I care about the fact that she's a little girl, and I think that Jane understands what it is to feel like trapped and what it feels like to be deceived and locked away or traumatized. And so I think that she finds a lot of she's empathetic towards Dorothy, and of course they have that connection to the team.
And I think like looking at it from like a family aspect, they're very much like sisters, because when you look like at a sister relationship, there's that fighting, and you get that fight between Dorothy and Baby Doll, and these are two little girls with these powerful,
check out our Discord, guys.
powers they have really no control over. So when you put them two together, like, of course sisters fight. I fight with my sister all the time. When we would like pull out each other's hair and stuff like that. So like when you put two girls together with these powers, it's not gonna necessarily always end up well.
I think I might be a little bit too big for some of your games.
That kid does a really good British accent.
Your dad is a bad man. What? He hurt me. He hurt everyone in this house, and that's why everyone hates him. That's not true. It is. He's bad.
Your dad is a bad man.
There we go.
Yeah, they've got a new Batwoman
was like,
already.
Baby Doll was like,
but I didn't like Batwoman. I thought it was a trash show.
That scene turned out so creepy.
Sorry,
It's like,
sorry if you liked it.
It was so creepy. I just have to say I loved that episode for all of us. I thought it was so fun.
And
So
it was
awesome.
so fun, like working with you for the Dorothy Baby Doll scenes where we just gotta let out our inner little kid.
How are you, Cliff?
Top shelf. So are you two running buddies now? Two little masters of disaster? Nice.
Yes, sirree. We're very close friends.
Hey. Man, you missed out on a killer tea party.
What?
What?
This is DC FanDome, so we have some questions from fans as well.
Hi, my name is John Tharp.
How about now? Let me know if you can hear me.
And my question is, was the writer's room a no bad ideas sort of space? Because there seem to be no limits on the Doom Patrol show, and I absolutely love it.
I feel like it's.
Can anyone else hear me properly? Because I thought you're the only one, dude.
And just case in point, I wrote an episode where the villain
What is that haircut?
descends on a crowd in a
like
giant
an ice
butt
gem.
balloon, and that made it to film. So.
Hi, my name is Austin. I'm from Hawaii, and my question is, will the Doom Patrol ever acknowledge themselves as the Doom Patrol?
Just from my perspective in the writer's room, I try to never think of this show necessarily as a superhero show. But I would think if you had superpowers, it would be impossible for that. not to
Oh, the
cross your
stream's gone down
mind,
for
like,
policy
whether it's Steel and
violations.
Stone or
What
Rita
the
trying
fuck?
to master her powers. I think that might be in the back of everyone's mind, but I think they're a long way off from being able to get their own shit together to worry about other people's problems.
Chris, way to plug your own episodes there. That was very good. Well done.
I don't know any
Are you
other
kidding
episode,
me?
I just
Why is
focus
it
on
limited?
Me.
Oh, Chris, we have so much in common.
Yay, narcissism!
Hello, my name is Andrew Garcia, and I love Doom Patrol for being so
Hey,
bizarre
we're back.
with the wild adventures they go on. But to me, this show hits the highest points with the theme of mental health, being that the characters have such traumatic origins. What have you learned from your characters, and what does mental health mean to you as actors?
Well, just, destigmatizing mental health is so important, I think, and it's something that is super underrated. I love that our show does that.
Got a live review.
And I love that it's not just, at first I kind of went in thinking it was just going to be, Crazy Jane, right? Because she has all these personalities and she has DID. But then you see that it's all of us, really. And I really think that speaks to a lot of people because we all really do, as human beings,
Oh,
need
cheers, bro.
mental health. It's
My
important
girlfriend
for
cut it
us
for me.
in our day to day, so that it's important for our survival. Jane has certainly taught me a lot about the self-care that I need, and not to just blow something off like, oh well, whatever, I'm sad, it's not important. It is important, and it's important to take care of yourself, and it's important to make sure that we give that value for everyone. Nothing is too little or too big, and we never stop growing. I mean, we're all like on the show, we're like 100 years old or something, or plus, Dorothy. And so we see that we just never stop growing, and it's never too late to heal. In fact, it's imperative.
All you gotta do is talk to me. What's going on in there?
This codependent.
The problem is, there's not that much they can talk about the next season.
Go, stay, do whatever you want. Just don't do it for me.
Okay, for the record, I am not dependent on anybody. I am my own robot.
Wow. Oh man.
Nice job, Armando. Whoa.
Armando.
Armando.
Why is Robot Man so cool? Man.
That is awesome.
It is awesome. Look at Rita, pensive as ever, just next to Larry, as we should be.
Friends.
More crazy. His origin is that he found the ambush bug suit and took on the role. Superpowers are teleportation, dumb luck, cosmic awareness, and invulnerability. Does that sound like a real DC character or a fake one?
Real.
That sounds real.
It is 100% real.
Dumb luck gave it away.
Yeah. If that's not the spirit of comics, yeah. All right, this one's name is Disgust Machine. Real name, Quinn Harrison.
Stream unavailable again.
Origin,
Kidding me.
famous chef turned hideous superhuman after accidentally eating mutant eggs. Superpowers are super speed, shapeshifting, and enhanced smell and vision. Does that sound like a real character or a fake one?
That's a fake character.
Fake.
It's fake.
Yeah.
Policy violation. What policy violation?
Name is Lump. Real name is Lump. Origin is that it was created by a character named Granny Goodness to trap a superhero called Mr. Miracle. Superpowers are telepathy and illusion casting, and it may or may not have gone mad by seeing it.
Real.
That's real. Is our 3 for 3 again for all assembling for this virtual DC FanDome panel. This is the cast and the creators of Doom Patrol.
Okay.
The first 2 seasons of which are available now.
That is it. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't be shy. Hit that subscribe. Hit that like as well. We've got content coming out every day. We upload every single day. Although I haven't got an actual video coming out today, but we'll see. But drop a like I said. Drop a subscribe with notifications on. Click that little bell. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye.